The health of our gut and digestive system is so vital for so much proper functioning in the body. From mood to pain to inflammation to energy to sleep. If your gut is out of balance, these symptoms can get worse. Episode 13, Parasites, Fungus, and Bacteria. Oh my! Learn how to rebalance your gut and improve your digestion. Hey everybody, welcome back to Dr. Ashley, your go-to channel for everyday holistic health for the times we live in, also known as Ecomedicine. Consider hitting the subscribe button to stay updated on the latest health tips. Have you ever heard of the microbiome and how hundreds of trillions of healthy bacteria are living in our digestive systems? And have you ever wondered, was there something living in there that shouldn't be? And have you ever wondered how this could be affecting your health? By the end of this video, you will understand just how much parasites, yeast, which is a kind of fungus, and imbalances of good bacteria can affect our health and how to check yourself for this. You will also know some basics of managing this and do's and don'ts, which most people do not know. Okay, let's begin the journey through our digestive system. It is crazy to think that our digestive systems are their own ecosystem that requires the right balance of living organisms, but there you have it. And the ecosystem outside of our bodies is affecting our internal one in the 21st century. From toxins to chemicals to pesticides to heavy metals like mercury and many of the foods we eat, our internal ecosystems are paying the price. Digestive systems are very out of balance, and our immune systems, and more than half of our immune system is in our gut, have been weakened. And so there are more unhealthy bacteria, more unhealthy parasites and yeast hanging around in our intestines, just living there. And the health of our gut and digestive system is so vital for so much proper functioning in the body. From mood to pain to inflammation to energy to sleep. If your gut is out of balance, these symptoms can get worse. So let's start with my favorite topic, parasites. Why? Because they are missed in diagnosis so often, and people feel so much better when they are managed. I have seen people with pain all over their bodies and in their joints, as well as terrible digestive issues, autoimmune problems, mood problems, and immune deficiencies who did have improvement when their parasite problem was taken care of. Now, this is for bad imbalances and isn't the case for everyone, but I have seen some incredible turnaround. There is quite a range, since some smaller parasites can live in the digestive system relatively harmlessly. It just depends. But even the run-of-the-mill parasite infections still can cause a number of symptoms and issues for people over time. These include, unfortunately, digestive upset, overly allergic reactions and sensitivities to food, mood problems, autoimmune issues, and more. Parasites range in size from super small, and we're talking the size of bacteria, to rather small to quite large and long. I recommend not visualizing or looking up images. It can be stressful to do so. It's better just to not think about it too much. Parasites are real and a force to be reckoned with because people do not always feel well when they are being treated for them. The life cycle of parasites is unfortunately complex, and treating them can be complex. Managing the digestive issues, the bloating, fatigue, the mood issues, the low energy symptoms that some people develop while taking anti-parasitic medications and anti-parasitic herbs can be challenging. They are often undertreated and they often return. When properly treated, a number of issues like food sensitivities, bloating, irritable bowel symptoms can improve. Even autoimmune diseases can get better. So here are my tips when it comes to parasites. Number one, if you think you might have a parasite or parasites because sometimes there's more than one, and your digestion just doesn't feel right. You're reacting to foods, you're bloated all the time, or you went traveling somewhere and got sick and you think you might have picked something funny up. It is a good idea to get tested. Unclean water, raw fish, and raw meats are some culprits. Regular sushi eating is one way to pick up parasites. Sorry to say that, but it's true. Number 2, stool tests. Know that most stool tests are not all that accurate for catching parasites and frankly other issues in the body. Fortunately, there are some new stool tests that can actually detect DNA of parasites, and also there are places where parasitology experts can look at the stool so that they know what they're looking at. So be aware that a good stool test is important and is not the whole picture, unfortunately. Number 3, there are a number of herbal parasite kits out there for parasite cleanses. I've talked to so many people who just went and randomly picked one up and took it at the grocery store or some kind of supplement store. These may get the overall burden of parasites down a bit, but they generally do not eradicate the bugs, and they're not really targeting a specific parasite. If you have no other option, know that you can still have a tough time going through herbal treatment for parasites. So working with a practitioner who can help you properly detox and keep a clean diet during this time is really important so that you don't feel so bad. The detox support can be pretty intense, ranging from colon hydrotherapy to colloidal bentonite to charcoal. So having someone help you manage this is recommended if you're going to do it. Number 4, anti-parasitic pharmaceuticals. For some people, these are actually necessary to really manage the problem. The issue is that these medications can be expensive, very expensive. So working with someone who's an expert, knows how to get more affordable medications can be a lifesaver. Number 5, if you aren't doing a clean diet, as in avoiding sugar, gluten, processed food, and too many refined carbohydrates like white bread while you are on the parasite cleanse, you probably will feel pretty bad. That is when you're doing treatment. You also probably won't feel well if you aren't detoxing your gut as you do the treatment either. So, why are there so many gut parasite issues now? We don't really know for sure, but from international travel to extensive eating of sushi, contaminated water sources, there are so many reasons to pick up a parasite. I personally think the main cause of parasite imbalance, and this is because many people do live with parasites and don't have as many issues, it's that our immune defense systems in our intestines and stomach are just weaker. There can be many factors that weaken our gut immune systems. This includes poor nutrition, inflammatory foods, too many antibiotics, imbalance of our healthy gut bacteria, exposure to too many toxins like heavy metals and pesticides. There's so much thrown at us that our bodies just can't balance, and this can affect our immune system. But not to worry. Here are a few tricks to strengthen the gut immune system. Number 1. Nutrition. Vegetables and the fruits that aren't quite as sweet in large quantities really support the healthy gut bacteria. They provide food and nourishment. Taking out allergenic and inflammatory foods that keep bothering and irritating your intestinal lining is a great idea. These often include sugar. And taking as much processed and fried food out of the diet, if you can, is a great idea. Number 2, eating foods high in probiotic cultures on a daily basis can really support the immune system of the gut. Number 3, having organic mineral broth or vegan mineral broth daily with collagen or a plant-based amino acid protein, and for short periods of time, perhaps even an L-glutamine powder, a slippery elm powder, or colostrum can do wonders to the gut immune system. Honestly though, it depends on the person. Number 4, the jury is out if one should take probiotics tailored to their specific stool test or not. This means based on which healthy bacteria each person is actually low in. But one option that works well is just taking a probiotic that has many, many different healthy strains of bacteria. So you're just getting a spread of a probiotic. Number 5, MONOLAURIN. This substance, derived from coconut fat, can be great for the gut immune system, depending on how good a brand you use. And it can be so helpful in balancing yeast and healthy bacteria in the gut. And it can be used long term, and it's also good to support the immune system around viruses. Number 6, colostrum. This is not easy to procure, but and I say if you can get goat or sheep-derived colostrum, this can really help the immune system and support the gut lining. It can also help with autoimmune issues for some people as well. Okay, I think I've gotten off track. We need to discuss yeast or candida imbalance next. Some people have a genetic response and react to yeast and candida in an almost allergic way, where it can cause mood issues, bloating, weight gain, and set off all sorts of allergies. Some people just have a tendency to be affected by an overgrowth of yeast more than others. For people living in a moldy environment or who have been exposed to indoor mold for an extensive period of time, at some point in their lives, it's possible that they may become more reactive to yeast and candida in food and in their guts. Also, people who have had an excess of antibiotics in their lives may also have an issue with candida or yeast. This can definitely overgrow when the healthy bacterial levels are affected, as they are with excessive antibiotic use. I've had plenty of patients with eczema and psoriasis who went through significant healing of their skin over months by treating candida gently and slowly. This is specific people with specific situations. Note, it can take months when healing from the inside out, but I have seen significant improvement. Either way, if you suspect you have a candida imbalance, there are a number of stool tests and blood antibody tests to see how you are reacting and how much of a burden it really is. For some women who get yeast infections all the time, your gut yeast may be out of balance as well. If your digestive system is living with too much of this, here are some things that can be done. Number 1, probiotics. A well-balanced probiotic that has at least 25 to 50 billion what we call colony-forming units daily, and use of daily probiotic foods is super important. The best strains for candida include most of the lactobacillus strains. These are Lactobacillus rhamnosus, acidophilus, lactis, casei, plantarum, and list goes on. Bifidobacterium are also great for candida. Note that some people don't do well with probiotics, in which case don't take them. You probably have a different imbalance in your gut. Number 2, watch out for too much yeast in the diet. Getting yeast and gluten-free breads is a good idea, and generally staying away from yeast products. It is super easy to get too much yeast in the diet. Number 3, if you crave lots of sugar, it could just be you, but it could also be your candida asking for more sugar. Either way, work on getting sugar out of the diet is a great idea. If you crave sweets, and I've said this many times, but stevia and a touch of raw honey in smaller quantities are good replacements so that you don't feel deprived. Number 4, there are many herbal formulas and supplements that are great to slowly rebalance yeast. This being said, if you have a severe reaction or very excessive quantities in your gut, pharmaceutical anti-candida medications like nystatin can be your friend, but you will definitely need to work with a practitioner in that case. Herbs that can really help balance yeast include podarco, coptis, philodendron, and Chinese skullcap. There are a number of others too, like olive leaf, barberry. These are also really antifungal. It can take a long time to see results on these herbs, but sometimes slow and steady is best. If you are thinking of taking stronger herbs like this for months, it is a really good idea to work with your holistic health doctor to make sure that these herbs are right for you and safe for you. Also, many herbs are contaminated, so they need to be from good organic sources. Sometimes these herbs only work with enzymes that break the cell walls of the candida. These are enzymes called cellulase and hemicellulase, and this depends on the person, but there are supplements out there that have these enzymes in them. Number 5, monolaurin. As we discussed above, it's very good for rebalancing yeast in the gut. Number 6, activated charcoal. This is something that can help bind out toxins from yeast and candida. You can't take this all the time, and you can't take it at the same time as food or medications because it can bind up the healthy nutrients and then you don't absorb them. So it is really good to get advice from an expert on how and when to take this, but it can be helpful for people on candida cleanses. And last but not least, let's talk rebalancing the gut to allow for growth of healthy bacteria. Let's start with the term gut dysbiosis, something many of us have in some form. It is an imbalance of the healthier gut bacteria because of antibiotics, low fiber, and high sugar diets. As a child, I had antibiotics all the time for sinus and strep infections. Unfortunately, this can lead to various imbalances, and it did so in my own digestive system. I had to work on this for years. Then there is something called SIBO, or small intestinal bowel overgrowth, which we will not address here. It's a topic of its own, but it refers to such a large overgrowth of bad bacteria in the small intestine that all kinds of symptoms can occur, like irritable bowel, digestive and food reactions, and autoimmune issues. Sometimes even digestive slowness can occur and nervous system reactions. So SIBO can be a major problem. There is a breath test for it, and you have to go to the right doctor to get this test done, because if it's positive, you probably need medications to heal your situation. Now, back to our more standard gut dysbiosis, or AKA bacterial imbalance. There are a number of ways to work on this. In doing so, it can help your immune system and help with food digestion and to reduce food reactions. Okay, let's go through some tips. Number one, most people do an herbal reset for this. There are many herbal packages, and some of these resets can last 4 weeks. Some might require starting with 2 weeks, alternating with high-dose probiotics, and then repeating. It really varies per person how long it takes to rebalance the gut. The main herbs used are, well, frankly, there are many herbs, and many brands of companies have some fairly decent balancing supplements out there, but they usually include a whole variety of berberine herbs, sweet wormwood, oregano oil, garlic, and sometimes black walnut husk, clove, and thyme. The formulas may vary, so one brand may be better for one person than another. Sometimes the herbs are frankly too strong for some people. Number two, increasing insoluble fiber, which comes from veggies, seeds, like chia, flax, and hemp, nuts, and gluten-free oat bran. As you can see, there is crossover of the types of fiber in many foods. If your dysbiosis is severe, you may not be able to tolerate the more grain, bean-based foods, so seeds, psyllium, and veggies could be the way to go for fiber. Number three, diet. Reduce sugar to a minimum. This will help to reduce the imbalance of gut bacteria. Limit adding yeast, that is, from breads and other sources. Number four, probiotics. Add a broad-based probiotic with lactobacillus, bifidobacteria, strep thermophilus, and if you do not tolerate the probiotic, you might have what I talked about before. It's called SIBO, and you may need treatment for that. Number five, take prebiotics like modified citrus pectin, inulin, artichokes, onion, garlic to help stimulate growth of healthy bacteria. That is, if you tolerate these. Number six, restore the gut lining. Restore any leaky gut. Supplements that can help this include bone broths with collagen, colostrum supplements, slippery elm, humic minerals, L-glutamine. I quickly want to discuss SIBO again. If you have almost no tolerance of carbs or sugar in your diet without getting major bloating or feeling uncomfortable, and you cannot tolerate probiotics at all, or you may have some unexplained weird chronic pain or some vague autoimmune symptoms or nervous symptom imbalances, this really may be SIBO. So get tested with a breath test. This is Dr. Ashley. Thank you for joining me for another episode. I hope these tips have been informative and have you feeling more determined to heal your digestive system and rebalance it. What do you think might be going on for you? Get tested. And don't forget to subscribe for future updates on how you can live a healthier life.